Have you ever wondered if there's a clear path to a truly blessed life? I'm not talking about just fleeting happiness, but that deep, lasting contentment. Well, the Bible actually lays one out for us in Psalm 128, and today we're going to walk through it verse by verse. Let's dive right in.
And this devotional explainer is brought to you by our friends at the You Need Faith in Jesus team. We are so glad that you're joining us today.
All right, so the psalm opens up with this really powerful declaration. It kind of sets the stage for everything that's about to follow. You could say it's the key that unlocks this whole idea of a life filled with divine favor.
Here it is, the foundational truth of the whole chapter. Blessed is everyone that feareth the Lord, that walketh in his ways. Now, did you catch that? The psalmist says this isn't for some select, special few. This deep contentment is available to everyone who meets these two simple conditions.
Okay, but before we go any further, we have got to understand that first condition, because that phrase, feareth the Lord, well, it can be really easy to misunderstand in our modern language, right? And this is absolutely crucial. This is not about being scared of God. It's not a cowering terror. No, the original meaning is all about having a profound sense of awe and reverence. It's a deep, healthy respect for who He is, for His power, His holiness, and His rightful authority in our lives.
You know, this really illustrates the two parts of that first verse perfectly. They're like two sides of the very same coin. Fearing the Lord, that's our internal posture, right? It's that deep respect we hold in our hearts. And walking in His ways, well, that's just the natural result. It's our external actions lining up with His word. What we truly believe on the inside always shows up on the outside.
So, what happens when someone actually lives with this kind of reverence and obedience? Well, the psalmist doesn't leave us guessing. He immediately starts painting this beautiful picture of the tangible blessings that flow from this foundation. And he starts with two areas we can all relate to, our work and our family.
The verse says, "For thou shalt eat the labor of thine hands." Now, you have to imagine in an ancient farming world, this was a huge blessing. It meant your hard work actually paid off. No one came and stole your harvest, no drought wiped it out. It was a powerful sign of peace and provision.
And that translates to us today as the profound gift of finding satisfaction and dignity in our work. Look, it's not a promise of massive wealth, but it is a promise of meaningful provision and the contentment that comes from enjoying the results of your own hard work. It's seeing your ability to provide for yourself and your family as a direct gift from God.
And from the field, the blessing moves right into the heart of the home. Thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine, thy children like olive plants. Oh, the imagery here is it's beautiful and so rich with meaning.
So a fruitful vine was a symbol of joy, beauty, and abundance, flourishing right there at the center of the household. And children like olive plants? Well, olive trees were incredibly valuable. They represented health, a secure future, and a lasting legacy. So this is a picture of a home that's just filled with joy, security, and promise.
And just in case we miss the connection, the psalmist kind of pauses and says, "Behold." It's like he's saying, hey, pay attention, look closely. This isn't just random luck. This satisfying work and this flourishing family, this is exactly how the person who reveres the Lord will be blessed. There is a direct link here.
But the blessing doesn't just stop at our own front door. The psalmist then broadens the whole perspective, showing that a life blessed by God is meant to have a ripple effect, touching the entire community. The blessing comes out of Zion, which, for the ancient Israelites, was the holy mountain in Jerusalem, the place where God's presence dwelt with His people. And notice the result? You will see the good of Jerusalem. This means the well-being of your entire city, your entire society will flourish. This is such a powerful reminder for us today, isn't it? Our faith is not meant to be a private, isolated affair. God blesses us so that we can be a blessing to others. A godly, stable life actually contributes to the peace and prosperity of our towns, our cities, and our nation.
And the psalm concludes with these two ultimate blessings. The first one is personal and generational. Yea, thou shalt see thy children's children. And the second is communal and all-encompassing, and peace upon Israel.
So what does this all mean? Well, seeing your grandchildren was a sign of a long, full life, and it meant your legacy of faith was continuing on. And that word peace, it's the Hebrew word shalom, and it means so much more than just the absence of war. It means complete wholeness, security, health, and prosperity for the entire community.
So, we've seen the promises, we've understood the principles, but how do we actually apply this? How do we put ourselves on this pathway of blessing that the psalmist is describing? The question then is a really practical one. How do we, in our day-to-day lives, actually begin to walk this out? Well, the good news is the psalm itself gives us the blueprint.
Here are 5 practical steps drawn right from the text. First, cultivate reverence. Intentionally start each day with a sense of awe for who God is. Second, walk obediently. This is where the rubber meets the road. Actively make choices that align with His Word. Third, work with gratitude. See your job, whatever it is, as a gift. Fourth, nurture your home. Invest your time and love into your family. And finally, number 5, bless your community. Pray for your city and look for ways to contribute in a positive way.
So, as we close, here's a thought to take with you. Looking at these circles of blessing, your personal reverence, your work, your home, and your community, which one will you intentionally invite God to bless first? The pathway is clear, and the invitation is open to absolutely everyone.